Hello, namaste, my dear friends. I am Sunil Kumar Jadhav, SRG from Gujarat State and Principal of Shishisa Sarvajanik English High School, Surat. Here in this session, we are going to learn one important topic, that is structure of an atom. This is an important topic from Standard 9 Science chapter number 4, which itself its name is structure of an atom. Before discussing about the structure of an atom, let's recall previous knowledge, previous chapter what we have learned. In previous chapter we have learned about the Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton proposed that the atom is indivisible and indestructible. But when the fundamental particles proton and electrons were discovered, this theory of Dalton said to fail. It leads to fail this theory, and we get to know that the proton and electrons are present in an atom. Then the question must arise in our mind, what kind of arrangement should be there of proton and electron inside the atom, and the things where we need to explore. In this session we are going to discuss about the different models of an atom, which is given by J.J. Thomson. First we'll discuss about the Thomson's model of an atom, then we'll discuss about the Rutherford model of an atom, and ultimately we'll learn about Niels Bohr's model for the atom. So we'll start this along with the presentation. So let us start with the presentation.
So friend, let us begin with the presentation. Standard 9 Science, in which we are going to discuss about chapter 4, structure of an atom, in which we are going to discuss about the structure of an atom. What we are going to learn, let us see, different models for structure of an atom that we are going to discuss, in which we are going to discuss, first of all, the Thomson model of an atom. Then this model is quite not suitable for the different experiment done by the different scientists. And then we come to the Rutherford's model, and some of the drawbacks were there for the Rutherford's model. So ultimately we'll see about the Bohr's model of an atom, which is still existing. So this thing we are going to discuss in today's session. So let us begin. First of all, we are going to discuss about the Thomson's model of an atom. Thomson was the first one to propose the model for the structure of an atom. He has considered, or he proposed, that the model of an atom to be similar to that of the Christmas pudding. You can see it is really look like Christmas pudding. What he considered, the electron in the sphere of the positive charge was like currants, that is dry fruit in the spherical Christmas pudding. As in the Christmas pudding, the dry fruits are there. Similar way, he has assumed that the structure of the model, or we can say the structure of the atom, is spherical, in which the electrons are embedded. This entire part is a positive sphere. You can see the entire part is a positive sphere, while these electrons are embedded in it. If we consider or will compare along with this model, you can see it is a Christmas pudding. Then the dry fruits are considered as the electron, and the entire edible part of this cake is considered to be positively charged proton. Similarly, we can consider or we can compare it along with the watermelon. In watermelon also we can see the edible entire red part is considered to be positive charge, and these seeds, you can see all these are embedded. These seeds are considered as the electron. So this is the model which is given by the Thomson. We can consider it as the Christmas pudding model, or we can also consider as the watermelon model, because the model is indicating that this is the same thing, that is the entire atom is the spherical with the positive charge and electron are embedded in it. What are the Thomson's propose, or what proposal he has given? An atom consists of positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. We have seen that the electron are embedded while the entire part is made up of the positively charged proton. The negative and positive charge are equal in magnitude, so that atom as a whole is electrically neutral. He has considered that positively charged and negatively charged, that is proton with positive charge and electron with the negative charge, are equal in magnitude. Their magnitude is same. That's why the entire atom is electrically neutral. Although Thomson's model explained that the atoms are electrically neutral, the result of experiment carried out by other scientists could not be explained by this model. So the different scientists have done different experiment, and this model has not been suitable with that particular experiment. So next model we are going to discuss is Thomson's model of an atom. Hans Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within the atom. And Rutherford designed an experiment for this. What he did, let us see his experiment. He has selected a gold foil because he wanted as thin layer as possible. You know, gold is a metal which can convert into a very thin sheet. So he has taken the gold foil for his experiment. This foil was about 1000 atom thick, only 1000 atom thick gold foil he has taken for his experiment. What he did after that? Fast moving alpha particles were made to fall on this gold foil. He has taken the very thin gold foil, and fast moving alpha particles were made to fall on this thin gold foil. Alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions having the mass of 4 unified mass, that is 4u, and have considerable amount of energy. By this experiment, he was expected, or it was the expectation, that alpha particles would be deflected by the subatomic particle in the gold atom. You know, two subatomic particles were found up till that date, that is proton and electron. So what he considered, or what he expected, alpha particles would be deflected by the subatomic particle in the gold foil. Since the alpha particles were much heavier than the proton, he did not expect to see the large deflection. But whatever observations he has seen, that is really unexpected and unbelievable. First of all, we'll try to understand his experiment. What he did, he has taken alpha ray emitted source. From that, he has implemented the alpha particles. He has kept the gold foil, and he has implemented all these alpha particle, or bombarded all these alpha particle on this gold foil that is very thin, about 1000 atom thick. This is detector. So when the alpha rays will be passing through it and just strike to this detector, the detector will show the light, or it will indicate that here the particle has been struck. So what is the observation of it? You can see all the alpha particle, most of them are straight away passing through the gold foil, but some particles are deflected by a small angle. You can see they are deflected, and unbelievably some of the particles were returned back, or we can say bounce back or reflected. This is what the unexpected result we have found. As you can see, Rutherford's model indicate that the entire atom is made up of nucleus. The entire atom is made in the spherical structure, while the nucleus is here. This is atom, this is nucleus, while the alpha particles were implemented or were bombarded on that. You may have seen most of the particles are straight away passing through it. This is a gold foil, very thin gold foil he has taken, and these are directly straight away passing through it. Some are the particles which are deflected. As you can see, this is the nucleus. As these particles are strike to the edge of the nucleus, so it is deflected by some of the angle. Here also you can see it strike over here, so it is deflected. But when it strike exactly at the center of the nucleus, the rays are reflected back. So what are the observation of this experiment? Let us see. Observation of the experiment: most of the fast moving alpha particle passed straight through the gold foil. Most of the particles were passing through it. Some of the alpha particles were deflected by the foil by a small angle. As we saw, some particles are deflected, but the deflection angle is very small. But surprisingly, 1 out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. This is the unexpected result he got during his experiment. Surprisingly, 1 out of every 12,000 particle, when he has bombarded, out of that one is rebound. This is what he has seen. So in his own word, What he said, this result was almost as incredible as if you fire a 15-inch shell at a piece of tissue paper and it comes back and hits you. This is very surprising result he got. He described in his own word. So it was just like, you can imagine, one student or one kid is standing facing his the wall. He faced the wall. He has taken 10 stones and throwing on the wall. As the wall is rigid, when he will throw it, the sound will be listened. He has taken 10 stones. He is facing towards the wall. When we close his eyes and will tell him to throw those stones, what he will do, he will throw it, and when it will strike to the wall, he will be able to listen the voice. What would be the outcome? When he will throw, all the 10 stones will be striking to the wall, as he is nearer by wall and he is throwing it towards the wall even by closing the eye. It is happening. But just imagine blindfolded child were thrown stones, barbed wire fence, means when the fencing wires were there, which is normally we are doing in the farm, that fencing wire he has been facing towards it and he has to throw the stone. In that case, what would happen? Most of the stone would not hit the fencing and no sound would be heard. Very small, out of all those 10 might be one or two, one might be striking, or even not a single one would strike this. This is because there are a lot of gap in the fence which allows the stone to pass through it. So this is just like the fencing. The child and blindfolded child has to throw it on the fencing and most of the stone will passing through it. Conclusion of the experiment. What he has concluded from his experiment. Result number one, observation number one, we have found that most of the particles were straight away passing through the gold foil. Most of the space inside the atom is empty. Most of the particles were straight away passing. So what he has concluded, most of the space inside the atom is empty because most of the alpha particle pass through the gold foil without getting deflection. Second result, as we have seen, some of the alpha particles were deflected by a foil by a small angle. Very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that the positive charge of the atom occupies a very, very little space. Number three result, we have seen that surprisingly 1 out of every 12,000 particles were appear to rebound. What conclusion it gives? A very small fraction of alpha particles were deflected by 180 degree, means it reverts back, or we can say rebound, indicating that all the positive charge and a mass of the gold atom were concentrated in a very small volume within the atom. So these are the three conclusions he has got it. One of the first observation was that most of the fast moving alpha particles pass through the gold foil. So what he concluded from that, most of the space inside the atom is empty. Second observation, we saw some of the alpha particles were deflected by a foil by a very small angle. Very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that positive charge of the atom occupies a very little space. And the third one, surprisingly, out of 12,000, few particles are deflected by 180 degrees, indicating that all the positive charge and the mass of the gold atom were concentrated in a very small volume within the atom. From the data, he also calculated that the radius of the nucleus is about 10 raised to 5 times less than the radius of the atom. This is what the main conclusion is. The atom is a hollow sphere, but it is having a very heavy and a very small nucleus which contain almost entire mass of the atom. This is what the surprisingly observation he has find it out. The important thing that we are going to discuss here, you can see in my video, that just imagine this is the nucleus of the atom. One 15-inch bullet will just striking to it. What would happen if it would touches to its edge? Then what would happen? If it touches to its edge, it will deflect by this way. If it touches to its edge at the bottom, it will go like this. Most of the part is empty, so most of the bullet will be directly passing. But if it strike at the center, then it would rebound. This is what the experiment was, and it was the result of the experiment. Now, characteristic of the experiment, what he has taken it out, or we can say that what are the features of his experiment. There is a positively charged center in an atom called as nucleus. This is what the important information he has brought out from his experiment. There is a positively charged center, means it contained proton with the positive charge in an atom called as nucleus. Nearly all the mass of an atom resides in the nucleus. Most of the mass is resides in the nucleus. It means the atom is a hollow sphere in which the entire mass is resides inside this nucleus. The electron revolved around the nucleus in a circular path. This is the second observation he has found out. Electron with negligible mass is revolved around the nucleus in a circular path. The size of nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. As we already discussed, by the calculation, he said that nucleus is about 10 raised to 5 times less radius than that of the atom. A very small part is gained by the nucleus. It is reside in the center, but the heavy particle and the entire mass of the atom is resides in the nucleus. This is what the characteristic of his experiment. So his experiment is very successful, but some of the drawbacks were there. So due to that, some corrections are necessary in his model. Let us discuss about drawbacks of the Rutherford's model of an atom. What were the drawbacks? Why this model is little, it is very successful model, but why it is not universally accepted, due to what reason that we are going to discuss here. Revolution of an electron in a circular orbit is not expected to be stable. As we know, this is the center. If the electron is revolving in the circular path, then what would happen? You know, if this electron is moving on a circular path, its direction is changing at all the point. You know, if it is here, its direction is this. If it is here, its direction will be this. If it is here, its direction will be this. And if the direction is getting changed, we know that its velocity gets changed. If velocity gets changed, we can say it undergoes the acceleration. Change in velocity is called as an acceleration. So the revolution of electron in circular orbit is not expected to be stable, and it would undergoes acceleration. If any particle goes on acceleration, what would happen? It will liberate the charge, or we can say it will release the energy, what we say radiation. When the acceleration will be occurs, during acceleration charge particle would radiate energy, so it will radiate energy. And if the energy would be radiated, what would happen? Ultimately it will get accelerated motion, it will radiate the energy, so energy will be losing, and ultimately it will fall down in the nucleus. So this is the drawback, that revolution of electron in the circular orbit is not expected to be stable, it would undergo acceleration. During acceleration, charged particle would radiate energy. It would radiate energy, like we are running and we lost our energy. What would happen? Once the time will come, well, the entire energy will loss out and will fall down. The similar thing would happen, that it would radiate the energy and finally fall into the nucleus. If this were so, then the atom should be highly unstable. If it is like that, what would happen? It will go into accelerated motion, it would just stay like a jalebi. You might have seen the jalebi. The path will be just like a jalebi, that this is a nucleus, it will start revolving like this, it will radiate the energy, it will decrease its radius, and ultimately it will fall into the nucleus. If it happened, then the atom should be highly unstable, but we know that atoms are quite stable. Hence his theory is not accepted by this way. Otherwise he had given a very strong observation which is considered to be very true, but due to this reason and this drawback, we consider that his model is also failed. So little bit correction is necessary. This correction has been done by Bohr. Niels Bohr put forward the following postulate about the model of an atom in order to overcome the objections raised against the Rutherford's model. He has given, or he has kept forward the following postulate about the model of an atom. Let us see his postulate. What he said: only certain spatial orbits known as the discrete orbits of the electrons are allowed inside the atom. This is what he said. a spatial orbit is only allowed, a discrete spatial orbit is only allowed, the other orbit is not been allowed in the revolution of the electron. As we know that it is not been radiate energy, it means it is only having a spatial orbit. We know that while the planets are revolving around the sun, they do not radiate energy or they do not fall down in the on the sun. So this is what the similar case is. Only the certain spatial orbit known as discrete orbit of electrons are allowed inside the atom. While revolving in the discrete orbit, the electrons do not radiate energy. This is what it is remaining. I'm extremely sorry. While revolving in discrete orbit, the electron do not radiate the energy. This is Bohr's model of an atom, and this is universally accepted, and till date this is the best model of an atom. Bohr's model of an atom, energy levels in an atom. Here what he said, as he said that these are the orbits or shell, it is called as an energy level. All these are energy level. You can see this is energy level 1 2 3 4. All these are orbits or a shell are represented by the letter. You can see first orbit is represented by K shell, second one is L shell, third one is M shell, and fourth one is N shell. This is all are the different shell or different energy level, and this is a nucleus. He said that the electrons are filled in the different energy level step by step. How the electron will be distributed in a different shell, that would be discussed in this chapter later on, but energy levels are to be described by the Bohr, that this is a discrete orbit in which only the electrons are revolving, and it has been given name by K shell, L shell, M shell, or N shell, or even by the number he has described. N is equal to 1, energy level 1, energy level 2, energy level 3, energy level 4, and so on. So the orbits or the shell are represented by the letter K, L, M, N, and so on, and the numbers 1 2 3 4. This is all about Bohr's model, and this is universally accepted till date. So this is all we have discussed about the structure of atom, what the different scientists had given their model. Bohr's model is universally accepted till date. It might be changing if any new innovation will occurs in the future. But this is all about the structure of atom. So I hope you have understand what kind of structure of atom has by these three different models. First model was the first time given by the Thomson. Then we have seen about the Rutherford model. But some drawbacks are there in the Rutherford model, which is corrected by the Bohr theory or Bohr model, and this is universally accepted. I hope you have understand.
So here we have learned about the structure of atom and different models. First model we have seen, which is given by J.J. Thomson, and it is failed due to certain reasons that we discussed. After that we have discussed about the Rutherford's model of an atom and some drawbacks of the Rutherford's model, and ultimately we have discussed about the Bohr's model, which is acceptable till date, and the different type of arrangement of electron and proton is there that we have discussed. So I hope you have understand this, and from this session you have learned about the different models of the atom. Thank you so much.